President Trump getting ready to meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin on Friday in Alaska. Joining us now on that story and others, former Democratic U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp. She's now the director of the University of Chicago Institute of Politics and a CNBC contributor. And Mick Mulvaney, former acting White House chief of staff, now Actum Strategic Advisors co-chair. And we'll talk about some of the business stuff, too. But we can start with what I did in that intro, Senator. And I'm feeling very, I don't know, I'm considering both sides of everything lately, which is annoying. It's annoying for me. I don't know whether, Andrew is, Langone said, has made a lot of progress with me. Maybe you're making progress with me. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking, Joe, that, it has gotten to the point where there's a great story about state-sponsored capitalism, and at the bottom, you're a capitalist, and what you're seeing is not capitalism, right? And so, of course, you're seeing both sides of it.
Okay, I am, but even on this, I understand that Putin is a brutal tyrant that really hasn't made apologies for anything he's done. So inviting him to the U.S. without any concessions could be seen as, not a good thing. But then I immediately think of what Democrats used to say about meeting with Obama and Ahmadinejad back then. You have to talk to these people to try to get where you want to go, to end bloodshed, to end a war, you can't do it through conflict. So I can always think of both sides. What about? So you would have to say this is a positive, but then Democrats just say Trump wants to win a Nobel Prize and he doesn't really care about the bloodshed. He just wants to win a Nobel Peace Prize, which is worthless now, obviously, because Obama got one for nothing. See, I'm going back and forth. I'm like hitting both sides.
You don't even need us anymore. You can do this by yourself.
You don't even need us this morning. You can just debate yourself.
Yeah,
we've been
doing that a lot.
Easy. We've been doing this now for a couple of years.
I stopped doing that in high school. Anyway, go ahead, Heidi.
Well, I think talking is always right, but preconditions are absolutely critical. And the fact that the president of Ukraine may not be there, Zelensky, tells you something about, is this an opening salvo? But what troubled me the most is how Russia is celebrating this meeting as a major win for Putin. And so I think it's always good to talk, but there has to be preconditions, and we don't see those preconditions in this dialogue.
That is true, Mick, and it's annoying because we do, we try to figure out how to feel in this country by looking at how the other country, like even I did that when France and other EU countries were mad about that deal. I was like, wow, I love it. Must be a great deal that we got with the EU on trade, because they were whining so much about it. So in this case, Russia is celebrating. Does that mean that we're getting taken advantage of?
No, I think there's something that's missing here, which is Trump wanted to have a meeting as quickly as possible. He's wanted to have a meeting for a long time. My guess is, and it's an educated guess, Alaska was simply the easiest place to meet on short notice. It's really, really hard to move the president. It's especially hard to move the president overseas. It would have taken weeks probably to set up meetings in, say, Helsinki or Rome or something like that. If we could set it up, my guess it's probably going to be at a military base in Alaska. It's just the simplest logistic place to do the meeting. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I am interested that Zelensky's not going to be there. I think that's probably a message to Zelensky and the Europeans as much as anybody else, which is, look, Trump has said it before. They don't have the cards. If the U.S., Russia, and the EU want this war to stop, and the price for the war stopping is Crimea becomes officially part of Russia, the war is going to stop, and Crimea is going to officially be part of Russia. Ukraine simply doesn't have the cards, as Trump says, to participate as a full member. They're relying too heavily on the U.S. and the EU for their own defense here, which is why they as of right now, they don't have a seat at the table.
Heidi, anything additional to that? You want to? I'll start with you on capitalism, because I love it now. You and all your socialist friends, the minute you get a chance to throw capitalism in a capitalist face, you do it. So now you like capitalism, and this stuff that Trump's doing is. Yeah, so now you like it. Now you like it all. Well, you're from the.
I always love capitalism. I always love capitalism.
Well, your friends on the coast do not. Your friends on the coast do not. Elizabeth Warren and others do not.
Well, let me tell you what Trump is doing. There's this article about state-sponsored capitalism. It's fascinating because it really puts a ribbon around everything that's going on. And if you think that the lesson Democrats are learning is that we need to return to some semblance of normal, the lesson they're learning is they haven't been brazen enough. And so this is going to be a race to the bottom if we get a president who is on the left side. I could see them saying, look, you want to sell coffee? We're going to tariff coffee at 150% or 100%. And then you are going to have to unionize. And so this is not a good thing, and it's never been a good thing. And I have to tell you, on tariffs, I was one of the few people who said Congress needs to claw back that authority and worked really hard to try and do it. But it's going to be really hard now, given that Trump has, I think, really extended the look of how you exercise executive power.
Is there anything to that, Mick? I mean, in terms of industrial policy, or there's the latest thing with NVIDIA and AMD, and we've seen other companies sort of to go to the White House and sort of the president's demanding some concessions. People call it
Republicans. There's a lot of Republicans, myself included, who don't like it. Industrial policy is not supposed to be a conservative thing. The Defense Department taking multi-hundred-million-dollar investments in rare earth minerals companies is not supposed to be a Republican conservative thing. Sovereign wealth funds are not supposed to be Republican conservative things, but that's because the party is no longer conservative. The party is populist. And Heidi's exactly right. The risk here that you run is that the populist wing of the Democrat Party is learning lessons from the populist wing of the Republican Party, and the message they're taking away from it is they're just not doing enough. And she's absolutely right. I mean, if Trump can spend $400 million investing in rare earths, why can't the Defense Department invest $3 trillion in solar panels? I mean, that's where this is going. It is going down the wrong road.
But Mick, here's a political question.
We're worried about it as well.
Right now, our president has an extraordinary amount of power, as you know so very well.
Yeah.
You may not like what you're seeing for whatever reason. And by the way, there may be people in the House and the Senate who don't like what they're seeing that are on the Republican side, but none of them are raising their hand.
Yeah, but that's because the energy in both parties, Andrew, is in the populist wing. That's the populist Democrats. You see it in New York. It's the populist Republicans. You see it in Washington, D.C. right now. It's different. The parties are changing. And there is no real place right now for the conservative. There's no place right now for the sort of the moderate Democrat that Heidi used to be. So, or probably still is. I'm sorry, Heidi. Yeah, that's where the energy is right now in both parties, and it does create new challenges for both of them.
Nick, to the end. Go ahead, Heidi. Yep.
I was going to say, with everything that the president does, this NVIDIA taking 15%, all of that just basically speaks to a pattern of use of executive power that is going to be hard to roll back unless people in Congress, grow something. And they aren't looking like they're going to do that one way or the other. And the Democratic base now is saying, look, you've got to fight fire with fire.
But Heidi, the Democrats don't want to roll it back. I mean, you and I were together in the House of Representatives for the State of the Union, where Barack Obama said, "Look, if Congress doesn't act, I have a pen and a phone," and he got a standing ovation from the Republican elected officials of Congress.
Heidi, the Democrats invented this, and it's even worse because in the last administration, there were all kinds of stuff that Biden did. Unfortunately, it was somebody, probably not him, it was some auto pen guy. It was like Zientz or Zientz or whatever his name is, that was doing it.
Joe, the whataboutism, it doesn't even compare.
You always say that. It's not hypocrisy. It's whataboutism. So you can do whatever you want, slash and burn for 4 years under Biden, and then if a Republican brings... Go ahead, Mick.
Whataboutism is just a comparison that you don't like. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, whataboutism is a comparison that you don't like that hits home, especially when we're talking about that.
Let me tell you, this administration on executive power is on steroids. And that wasn't true over the last 4 years.
The court system's on steroids, stopping every single executive power. Anyway.
Really, Joe? I mean, come on. I mean, these are
you've seen the numbers. You've seen the numbers, right? You've seen the numbers for how many things, compared to previous administrations that have these, you know.
Well, how do you feel, Joe? How do you feel about that tariff action in the D.C. Circuit Court? That, you know, this is being led by Republicans, by conservative organizations who think this has gone too far. There's a lot
They'll
of people
just find
out there,
another way.
people like Mick who understand that this is a historic moment and it's going to be really hard to roll this back.
The president is granted wide powers for trade, and if it does go south in the Supreme Court on the way they're doing it now, they're going to be able to do it another way. He's allowed to do a lot of those things for trade, I think, or at least that'll be the bottom.
Because Congress has ceded that authority in various statutes by giving them emergency authority.
You still want you're waiting for Congress to allow Trump to take out those Iranian nuclear sites at this point, huh? It's not the way it works.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think.
Do I think Congress is fleckless and ineffective and ridiculous? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, okay. I think that's true.
Right, because the Republicans are in charge.